In a world where Kristen isn't seeing shit.
Hey everyone, this is the other show that I've decided to do on my channel. Also, I'm a super professional by not muting my phone. This is the second time that has happened, actually. It happened in my last review with Chris and Jordan. But this is going to be our movie show, and I have brought my friend Trey on.
Hello.
He's going to review movies with me. And as of August is going to be Superhero Month.
Gotta honor the heroes.
So we're not starting Superhero Month until next week. So this week we are going to review one that I wanted to see in the theaters, and I bet is not going to be good at all. We are going to watch Hansel and Gretel Witchhunters with Jeremy Renner.
Well, all we can do is hope, and if hope all else fails, there's always liquor.
Yeah, we do have that and pizza, but yeah, so we're going to watch this, and we'll be back in a minute to give you our thoughts and review on it.
I promise we'll be nice-ish.
Nope, not even a little bit. Alright, we're back. We just finished the movie a little bit ago, you know, after having bullshit with my computer. I'm still getting used to this setup. Trey's just laughing at me. Laugh into the mic, damn it.
No.
So I'm not alone. Anyways, I don't know if we mentioned what movie. Yeah, we mentioned what movie we were watching. We watched Hansel and Gretel Witchhunters.
On the how drunk do you need to be for this, about 3 beers should carry it and make it completely believable.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you have to kind of throw. You have to kind of throw logic out the window.
But I will give it. It had some good points, really good head explosions, which sounds really, really dirty, and I'm sorry for that. But overall, it wasn't as horrible as it could have been. It could have been much, much worse.
Yeah, I mean, I think they definitely put most of their money into the gore effects.
Yeah, I've got to agree with you on that one.
I feel like they put most of their money into the gore effects. The story could have used a little bit more, but it's fairly good for what it was. There's still a lot of stuff, like maybe they were leading up to a sequel or something. I doubt it. But there was a lot left kind of open-ended.
It was very good that they finally answered some of the questions that we spent half the movie trying to figure out.
Yeah, so let's actually go through the movie. It starts with Hansel and Gretel's childhood, and their mother kind of shuns them out of the house. They're running out into the woods with their father. They're hiding in the woods with their father, and then he tells them to stay there, and then he blows out the lantern, and you don't hear from them ever again. Mm-hmm. You are led to believe that they just left them there.
And then we get super time-lapse into the future through some very interesting opening credits.
Oh no, you forgot about the part where they actually run into the candy house. They run into the candy house, into the woods. They find the witch.
That was a good fight. It was really gnarly. They barbecued her ass.
Yeah. She makes Hansel at one point eat a bunch of candy by threatening Gretel's life, which plays in later. And yeah, they end up throwing her into the oven and roasting her, and that's what starts their witch hunting escapades. And then it takes a several year jump into the future. They're well-known witch hunters. They've killed lots and lots of witches. They're kind of almost famous at this point.
It kind of has a Brothers Grimm feel, you know, roaming from town to town, taking out these evil beings. Just the whole traveling, I guess, bounty hunter, for lack of a better term, just seemed very Brother Grimmish to me, but it worked in the movies.
Oh, and one of my notes that I forgot is, at the very beginning, it sounds like they stole the soundtrack to Sherlock Holmes. They were just like, fuck it, we spent all of our money on the gore effects, we'll just borrow some music from another movie, from a better movie.
Yeah, nobody will notice, it'll be okay, we got that.
It's not like anybody's seen Sherlock Holmes or anything. Robert Downey who? Anyways, so they show up in this town that's having a witch problem. They're about to burn this girl as a witch. Then Hansel and Gretel show up and essentially say this woman's not a witch. inform the townsfolk what a witch actually looks like. And it is known that it is now let to be known that they are been hired by the mayor to hunt down the witch, and the sheriff is not too keen on this.
No, apparently the mayor's just kind of a figurehead, and the sheriff is a Nazi who essentially thinks he runs this show, and yeah.
And this is the first part that you have to suspend some of your logic, because it's, what, 17th century, maybe? And they have a fully working shotgun, a fully automatic crossbow, double crossbow. What else do they have?
Looks like at least a 8-barrel revolving pistol. Just a lot of munitions.
They pull out a taser at one point. That you wind up kind of like how you start up a lawnmower.
Just a lot of the weaponry you just really have to suspend. I think my biggest really kind of moment with the weaponry, they had a damn minigun. I'm sorry. I'll give you shotguns. I'll give you, multi-barrel pistols. I played Fable. Okay, I can work with that. I can even go with the razor blade bullwhip. I can give you that one.
Yeah, that's much later.
Prince of Persia was really cool. It works. Sorry, I draw a line at the minigun.
I drew the line at the fold out rifle that they had at one point, where it kind of stores in like a little foot by foot block, and then you grab the handle part and just kind of whip it out, and it folds out into a fucking rifle.
Again, if you suspend logic, it looks really cool, and for some weird reason it works, and it's like a mixture of awesome and just no all in one fell motion.
There were several times where Trey's like, alright, that is where I draw the line. Yeah. I'm like, you said that at the last weapon.
Yeah, I had to redraw my lines a couple of times, but it's a movie, it's okay. We'll forgive some of the obvious flaws.
So, after that, Hansel and Gretel do find a witch, and they kill her. And they find out that's not the witch that's been doing it. But they do find this paper, this pamphlet, this parchment. I was going to say pamphlet. This parchment.
Yeah, same difference.
This parchment that shows that they're planning something, the witches are planning something big on the night of the blood moon.
Well, good old evil witches, always up to some shit.
And so there's a lot of other stuff in between. There's like the token sidekick kid that's like totally What kind of professional are you?
I'm not. I've been drinking. Okay, give me some slack.
Anyways, so you have the little sidekick kid that's like infatuated with both Hansel and Gretel, and this is where you really start to see that Jeremy Renner's kind of the standoff sibling that's like, I don't like new people. What the fuck? And Gretel is the more accepting person that's a little bit nicer. She's better with like people and stuff. Couple of the sheriff's henchmen get sent into the woods, and they end up dying in the most visceral ways that you could think of. One guy gets torn limb from limb on camera.
Yeah, the quartering was cool. I think I like the exploding worm guy though. That was really kind of fun. The
exploding worm guy actually comes into the tavern that everybody's in after the witch attacks him, and he essentially is showing you, look, witches are here, and he blows up.
An explosion of like 4 pints of blood and some kind of larval insect, and it's great because the really hot lead gets like slapped in the head with a slab of meat and doesn't even bat an eyelash.
There's a lot of that. There's a lot of them just get like somebody else will get like a flesh wound and be like, oh, I'm out for like 45 minutes, and like Jeremy Renner got hit in the head with a shovel like 6 times in a row, and it didn't even phase him.
He's like, hang on, let me rub some dirt on it, I'm good, come on, let's get this going.
Skipping ahead a little bit, there's a female love interest for Jeremy Renner in the non-witch that they saved from being burned at the stake.
Hint, hint, hint. It turns out, guess what?
She was a witch the whole time, but a good one. Well, there's also this little side thing that they did explain for me. Throughout the movie, Jeremy Renner keeps injecting himself with stuff.
I said steroids at first, but turns out I was horribly mistaken.
You find out that essentially they don't call it this because that's not what it was called back then. They call it the sugar disease, but essentially as diabetes is what it is.
Yeah, according to his backstory, the witch who captured him and his sister as children forced him to eat so much candy without this injection of apparently dark age insulin, he apparently dies. So, yeah, just give reality a vacation for an hour or so and get a little loaded. It works.
Yeah, just after the guns, I can believe diabetes.
I'm still trying to understand some of the wounds. Okay, he gets drugged through the woods on the end of a stick. We come back to the movie. He's upside down, unconscious. Takes at least a 12-foot fall, lands flat on his back, and is like, hang on, let me catch my breath, gets up, like nothing happened. I'm like, dude, really?
That is after they capture one witch and they try and interrogate her, and she essentially because the witches have been taking a bunch of children, 12 to be precise, and she essentially says that when the 12 moons come, like their plan will be complete, and they somehow figure out that the 12 moons are the 12 kids, and they have to capture kids born in every month. Like they capture one kid per month. To which that is where the plot line kind of loses it for me. Because how the fuck do these witches know what month these kids were born in? They're just like, did they steal records of some kind? To find out when these kids were born? Have they been watching them their whole life?
They're magic. It works. Just go with it.
No, I'm not going with that. Like, how do the witches know what month these kids are born? And also, this is like medieval England. Who keeps records of that shit in town hall?
Back then it was the church's responsibility, but for some reason the sheriff had that. So I'm like, Sheriff Douchebag, no!
Sheriff Douchebag! So the witches come to rescue their captured witch, and a big brawl comes. That's when Jeremy Renner gets dragged on a flying stick into the woods and all of that jazz. And and Gretel gets beat up, and she goes to find him. That's when he is having sex with the redhead who they saved at the beginning of the movie.
Matter of interest, fellas. Partial nudity, always enjoyable.
Yep, there was full ass shot and boobage for the redhead. Trey's sitting over here doing coin magic tricks while we're recording.
I'm practicing. Leave me alone, alright? I've got no effect. I just have to get my moves right.
So Gretel goes to look for them. She gets jumped by the sheriff and his gang, and a troll saves her, which she's very confused by.
The troll kind of has the vocabulary of the Hulk, but reminds me of John Coffey from Green Mile. But, oh my god, he waylays these dudes. I mean, strawberry jelly everywhere.
The best death scenes in the movie are the sheriff and his men getting eviscerated, with one guy, the sheriff, getting his head exploded when the troll steps on his fucking head.
And not like just a stomp down. He's like slow and pressuring. And finally, he's like, you know what, that's enough. And he's like, boom, and it's like,
it's just
holy hell.
So the troll saves her and kind of nurses Gretel back to health, and then Hansel and Gretel find each other back in the woods, and guess where they run into? They run into the house that they used to live in. And didn't recognize it from the outside. Trey tried to be like, well, do you remember the house you were born in? Yeah, I do.
Well, good for you, okay? I moved a lot.
I didn't. I stayed in the same house almost my whole life.
Well, that and not to mention, I mean, time and, you know, this is way back when, so no real paints or anything like that. Plus, it's in the damn woods, so, you know, the forest kind of took it back. It's like, you know, you were just renting. You didn't pay your rent.
So they find out that from the lead evil witch that their mom was a good witch, which they didn't know good witches existed. They just thought all witches were bad.
Well.
Which is why, during the movie, that it's known that Hansel and Gretel cannot be hurt by witch magic. And you find out that that's why, because I guess they're half witch, or...
I still say it was the mom's doing.
Or the mom chanted a protection on them, or we're not sure if being a witch is genetic, or if you... I mean, obviously, or if you... They say you sign a pact with the devil... Which is, I mean, that can't be how they make good witches.
I'm still trying to work on this. I tell you what, I've got a couple of Wiccan friends. I'll ask them. We'll go from there.
Exactly. But yeah, so apparently there's good witches and bad witches. Their mother was a white witch, who was a good witch.
It was apparently, she was like the most badass of the badass white witches, because nobody wanted none of that.
So the bad witches want to capture these kids. And they need the heart of a good witch, which is why they capture Gretel, to make this potion that will make them immune to fire, which is what is the #1 easy way to kill a witch, is to set them on fire.
I kind of like the quartering, but, you know, whatever works.
So they find out they're half witch. Gretel gets kidnapped. Hansel gets knocked out. The redhead comes to heal him again, and he figures out that she is a witch. So the sheriff was technically right at the very beginning.
Yeah, well,
but she's a good witch.
Character progression. At first he hates all witches, then he like nails a good witch. He doesn't know she's a good witch till she saves his sorry ass. For like the second time.
Yeah, that's the second time they say. Well, I guess she didn't save him from the tree. She just kind of woke him up.
Well, I don't know. She kind of tended to him after he fell out of the tree.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's why
because they were at the lake, and then
they banged.
After he got shanked, you know, she treated him, and he magically just had like this little scar.
Yeah, so he finds out she's a good witch, and kind of like, I don't know how to handle this, and then accepts it.
It's like finding out your girlfriend has a tail. It's like, do you go with it? Is this a deal breaker for you? Well, how do you play this one? Personally, I'm okay with it. That means she can reach for something I can't while I have her hands occupied.
Let it be known that Trey is okay with women with tails.
Hey, I used to be in the circus.
That's very progressive of you.
I was in the circus, okay? I've seen some shit you wouldn't believe.
That's very progressive of you. I'm just still stuck on that. So what? Hansel and the redhead go back into town to get all of his guns and shit. And they have this book of good witch spells that I guess they got from the house. There wasn't really a...
They
never really go into detail on where they get this book of good witch spells, but... So, apparently belonged to his mom. And so the good witch that they run into, who I keep calling her the good witch or the redhead because I don't remember her name. I don't think her name was ever, said.
I think it was, but honestly, I wasn't paying that close attention.
I really don't think it was.
He called her something, I just don't remember what.
Anyways, so they bless or protect or something
Blessing.
all of his weapons, which includes ammo belts, Gatling guns, the double crossbow.
The collapsible rifle is again, here's where I have a big issue with this. Okay, we're talking 1800s, give or take. No, okay, you're talking maybe flintlocks, maybe a little above. I'm sorry, I have issues when you start whipping out, miniguns. Just no. Much less,
a fold-out rifle.
Oh, that's just bullshit. Gretel's crossbow. Twin crossbows apparently mounted to each other that are fully repeating.
Yeah, repeating crossbows.
That never runs out of ammo.
They never seem to run out of ammo. Oh, and they also, the crossbows can also, you push a button on them, and they will face different directions to each side and shoot things sideways.
I mean, I guess for ziplining it works, but the crossbow kind of confused me personally.
Why would they need that feature? At the one opportunity where there are enemies slightly ahead of you to your left and your right.
They used it in the movie.
Yeah, I know. They had to plan that situation out.
Just the crossbow kind of threw me because one witch they're chasing down, she catches a crossbow bolt through the leg. Then Gretel throws her crossbow over a tree branch, which apparently it works as a tether, and they tie her up with the crossbow. I'm like,
yeah, it has like a tether line on it too,
when the hell
like
does
a grappling hook.
When the hell does a crossbow become like a damn utility belt? This confuses the shit out of me.
Again, you have to suspend some.
Let reality out the window. Just let it's a movie take over and a little bit of alcohol, and you'll be okay.
Yeah, so we now get to the climax of the movie. Hansel and the redhead and the kid go and save Gretel, mow down a bunch of witches with a Gatling gun and the shotgun and the razor whip, and they kill like it's 100 witches or so or more.
I think the chick with no legs probably creeped me out the most.
Yeah. And the head witch gets away, and they go to hunt her down. And where do they find her?
Ooh. Ready? Spoiler. Candy house.
They find her in the candy house where they killed their first witch.
Just, again, it's... If you let it go that all this apparently happens and their biggest fight happens in their hometown...
That they don't recognize, apparently...
If you suspend bits of your reality, it makes perfect sense, but, it is what it is, for better or for worse.
Yeah, so they fight the last evil witch, and they kill her in the candy house with a shovel by decapitating her.
Always impressive.
And this is the scene where you have their young, sidekick person, and she's holding him hostage. Jeremy Renner shoots through the kid, doesn't kill him, it's just a flesh wound.
He shoots him just below the collarbone, but misses the ball and socket of the shoulder, so it's pretty much just muscle and meat.
So this kid gets shot one time and is out for
a good 20 minutes. Easy.
20 minutes of the fight. Meanwhile, Jeremy Renner gets hit in the head with a shovel 4 times.
He gets up, shakes it off, he's like...
Thrown against the wall, punched, bludgeoned, stabbed. At one point, the only thing that essentially brings him down is that he forgot to take a shot of insulin, so his strength starts waning immediately.
I mean, he's got this bad witch, chained up, hoisted up. He's in the process of just pretty much hanging her down, and all of a sudden, oh no, my shot, which... He has this weird way of knowing when to take his shot. He has this wind-up kitchen clock of a wristwatch. It sounds like a damn cricket. Again, if you give reality a break for a little while, it works. Otherwise, you're like, that is complete bullshit.
It's essentially instantaneous. When that alarm goes off, he instantly starts to be weak. Instantly. I don't know how diabetics work. I don't think it's an instant thing.
Think kryptonite and you'll get it. But
diabetes is his kryptonite.
That is the lamest reference ever, but...
Sorry. Diabetes is Jeremy Renner's kryptonite.
Yeah. But overall, not a bad movie. You have to suspend some of your reality, but there are some very well recognizable actors within the movie. I'm going to say Jeremy, what's his last name? Renner?
Yeah, he's the guy that played Hawkeye in the Avengers.
He's probably one of the easiest recognizable characters.
The next recognizable character, which it took us a while, we recognized her, is the actress that played Gretel.
Also the chick from Prince of Persia, the princess who guards the dagger that controls time. Took 10 minutes to figure that one out.
Yeah, we were almost about to look it up. Everybody else is a forgettable character. There's not a lot of background on any of the characters except for Hansel and Gretel.
If you have some working Marvel movie knowledge, you'll recognize some characters. The big witch that they try and bring down is a Marvel character.
It's the actress that played Jean Grey in the earlier X-Men movies.
The sheriff is the same guy from the Brothers Grimm. Trust me.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Once you see him,
that.
you'll understand immediately. Just he has the same kind of mentality. He's
the same dude.
He's the same douchebag.
He's the same douchebag in both movies. All right, so this is our first movie review. So I don't know if we want to do like a rating system or should we do it by? I think we should do it by alcohol consumption.
I think I'm on. What is this, number 3?
Trey says he needs at least 3 beers to make it through this movie.
I'd say that's fair. I can go with 3 beers.
3 beers. Should we out of 10? 3 beers out of 10?
Well, that's a...
No, because that would make it good then. So it'd be beers out of 5.
That's fair.
Or whatever. However you guys decide to take that. It took Trey 3 beers to make it through, and I've been sipping on Jack Daniels and Coke the whole time.
So really, who has to worry about intoxication more?
Yeah, it's probably me. But anyways, so this was our movie review. Next week is the beginning of Superhero Month.
Or week month. Sorry, my bad.
Superhero Month.
I've been drinking. Cut me some slack.
We don't know what superhero movie we're gonna watch. We have a big list of them. If you guys can think of any, leave them in the comment section down below. Yeah. So that's it, I think, for tonight. That was Hansel and Gretel Witchhunter, which I remember wanting to go see in the theaters, but didn't. And mostly because I think Jeremy Renner's hot.
Yeah, we know. Hawkeye makes you all hot and bothered.
Yes, he does. Also, he was in SWAT.
Never saw SWAT.
You never saw SWAT? It's terrible, too. I have it. We should watch that at some point. It's so bad. It's so bad that it's funny.
Let me get a couple more beers and we'll get right on that.
Alright, so that is it for movie recap. Say bye to everyone, Trey.
Bye to everyone.
Bye, everyone.